What do you know? Man, I'll tell you what I know. It is not a fun time to be a lease operator right now, pulling a dry van. It just is not. We're going to do an update today. We're going to cover the last 3 weeks of February. I'm fixing to finish up the second week of March, and then I'll do an update video on that. Hopefully I'll get that put out before the end of this week. But either way, we're going to knock out the last 3 weeks of February. February is a short month, so generally it's kind of a lower revenue month. But I'll just be honest, it was just a brutal month all the way around. So without sitting here rambling too much, I'll get into it. First off, I'm going to say I'm not going to go load per load per load. I'll kind of run through where I went, and then I'll just give the weekly total numbers, and I'll kind of give like a rundown of what happened through the week. So anyway, last place I left off was Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I was headed home. So from the house, I bounced back up to Pryor, Oklahoma, grabbed a load that was going to Ontario, California, delivered that load from Ontario. If you watched my last video, you kind of saw what played out on the next load. I had a load that was going up to Denver that ended up canceling on me, which kind of caused a snowball effect. Kind of caused me to lose a few other loads along the way. But the recovery load that I found actually paid better. So when you figure it plus the next load that canceled, that I ended up having, that I lost or whatever, it was kind of a wash. So anyway, from Ontario, I bounced to Moreno Valley, California, grabbed a load going to Sterling, Colorado. And that was the 2 loads that I ran for the week. That was 2,846 miles. I averaged 7.5 miles to the gallon that week. And total revenue for the week was $6,832.76. Now that was revenue to the truck or to the business, whatever you want to call it. So that's $240 per mile to the truck. Now from from Sterling, Colorado, my next load ended up canceling on me because Sterling, Colorado delivered later than the original Denver, Colorado load. So I ended up losing my next load. Couldn't find anything to get me back towards the house, which is where I was trying to get to from there. So I ended up bouncing 707 miles, I think is what it ended up being, or something like that, back to the house. Come out of the house, I had my next load leaving the house. My next load canceled before I actually left the house, which then put me in a situation where I was looking at the weekend with no load. I found a load in Tulsa, so I went back up to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and grabbed a load that was going to Englewood, Colorado. Now, that Monday was President's Day. Nobody was open. The load delivered on Tuesday. Tuesday's the final day on my settlement, so that was the only load that I got in that week. That was a total of 1,491 miles. That was the deadhead from Sterling, Colorado to the house, back up to Tulsa, and then over to Englewood, Colorado. I got 8 miles to the gallon. The only revenue that I had for that week was $1,625. That was $1.09 per mile. That was a brutal week. Now, next week, I went Sorry, getting ahead of myself here, changing pages, and I ain't even ready to. So, from Englewood, Colorado, I bounced like 550 miles over to Andover, Kansas. That's how my week started. 550-mile bounce to Andover, Kansas, because there's nothing in the Denver area that ever pays. So Andover, Kansas, went down to Waco, Texas with that load. From Waco, Texas, I ran back up to Dallas and grabbed a load that was going down to Alice, Texas. Now from Alice, Texas, I went to Laredo, Texas. Picked up a load in Laredo and ran that load over to Webster, Florida. Now from Webster, Florida, I bounced, I want to say it was like 280 miles, I think, up to Savannah, Georgia. And grabbed a little short hop going to Lexington, North Carolina. That was one of them kind of what you call a relocate load. I was trying to get out of Florida. So anyway, bounced to Lexington, North Carolina. That was the last load for that week. And that was a total of 3,471 miles. I averaged 8.1 miles to the gallon. Revenue for that week was $5,377.74. And that was a rate of $1.55 per mile. So that was the final 3 weeks of February. Not really a great month by any means. It was for a short month, it turned out to be a long month. We'll just say that. The rates have not gotten any better. I'll go ahead and say that right now. You kind of see that on the next 2 weeks. It is just getting quite ridiculous. I'll just say that. It's almost insulting the rates that I'm seeing pop up on the load board. I know some people that have already parked their trucks that, they've decided that they're going to park. They're going to just kind of wait it out. When you're in a lease truck with a weekly payment, you kind of don't have that option. And it makes it a little tough on you. You kind of got to run extra miles. You got to run a little harder than what you want to. Sometimes you got to run into areas you don't really want to run into. Fortunately, I've managed to stay out of the Northwest. This time of year, I don't go up there. And to be honest, the freight that's going up there is not really paying. It's not worth going up there. The rates have dropped off so much that you can't justify running up to Washington right now. I can't. I mean, I guess some people can because there's people that are still running up there, but I can't. I'll just say that. As I was talking, like in that last week, I ran down to Florida. I can't tell you how long it's been since I've been down in Florida. Now, I don't ever go deep into Florida. Webster, Florida is about not quite halfway down. It's north of Orlando and Tampa, and that's kind of like where I try to draw the line at. I usually don't like going south of there. That way it doesn't take me near as long to get back up out of there and get to a different load. So that's kind of how I run whenever it gets like that. Coming out of Laredo, there was some good freight. The problem that I'm running into is, man, people are beating me to it every time. Every time something pops, I mean, I don't know how they're doing it. They're beating me by seconds. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know if it's the difference in cellular service or what, but man, every time something pops, I seem to get beat. I've been trying to stick to hauling direct shipper freight, but what I'm running into, this is also another little tidbit for you. What I'm running into is, with the volumes being so low right now, agents that have contract freight, their volumes are down also. So what loads they do have, they're kind of sticking with the drivers that they already have relations with. When loads come up, they've already got drivers that they call, so they don't have any extra loads. So if you don't have some sort of relation with some agents, it's going to be a very difficult time right now. Fortunately for me, I have developed a few relationships, but just right around my house, that's where most of my relationships are. So I can find loads getting out, but I can't find ways to stay in a certain lane or anything, which is making it very hard for me. But like I said, I've been able to continue to run, continue to make money. It's nowhere near the kind of money that I'd like to make right now, but with the way the market is right now, I think something is better than nothing right at the moment. So, but that's where I'm at. Still alive, still running the truck, still out here burning up the asphalt. You know, just trying to make a living like everybody else. So, but that's it. That's where we'll call it a day at today. Like always, y'all hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Stay safe, stay warm. Shiny side up, rubber side down. Catch y'all on the next one.